Podcast, The Rhythm. Go live, Vegas on the screen, feeling the flow, so pristine. Boom, as the beats align, electric dreams, they intertwine.
This would be Nancy's Riot Podcast about positivity, being strong, get survivor, mental health, helping each other and overcoming life's challenges. Psycho like a loud buckle, this to be a hurt, hey. Chasing me is everything to the Lord alone, hey. I'll let home and chase, I don't win.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for joining me. To anybody that watches my episodes and listens to what I have to say, like I always say, time is the one thing we can never get back. And I appreciate you so much for taking the time to spend this time with me. In case you're wondering why I am not in the studio, if you guys have watched the last 2 episodes that I filmed, I opened up about my abusive ex that I left after brain surgery. And the reason why I am not in the studio today and you see an empty chair is since those last 2 episodes, he has ramped up his threats and attacks beyond what I can even tell you guys. How it started is on Wednesday, the 15th, of this year at approximately 11:17, he called my producer and, well, let me read you the statement and then I'm going to read you a few other threats that he made. And then we're going to go into the police and their lack of protecting people in my situation, whether you're a man or a woman. And I think that that is something that we need to bring attention to as a society, because the police do not take these threats as seriously as they need to. And then they wonder why 48 Hours and Dateline exists, why women get murdered by former spouses, partners, you name it. So the first, like I mentioned, happened April 15th. So my producer received a phone call. I'm not going to say the phone number, but the name that it displayed was Joanna Hughes, which is his new wife. So Joanna, if you're watching this, I just want you to know that your husband is breaking the law using your name with a phone number that used to be under his name, but now under your name, to threaten people. So you can be held accountable for these threats as well, because they are coming from a phone number under your name. So that is why I'm saying your name, because that's who the phone call came from. Anyhow, when my producer answered the phone, he stated, this is Go Live Vegas, and a male caller asked who he was speaking to. He responded, "This is Aaron. How may I help you?" The caller stated that he watched an episode of the show involving Nancy's Riot, and she said that I wanted him to come on the show and that he felt he'd been invited. This is Ron. Then he began saying that there was no evidence of abuse in the relationship and that I should not accuse anyone of abuse because I did not know what Aaron was talking about. So Aaron told the caller, Ron, that he was not part of the show, which Aaron is not. There's one host, and that is me. It's the only person. Guest, whomever I interact with, sometimes, yes, I do ask Aaron if he will interact with me in having a conversation, but Aaron doesn't dictate my show. Aaron is my producer. So Ron, it's me. It is my show, and no, you are not invited. Let's be clear about something. What I said was I would do a save the date, and if you weren't a coward, maybe you'd call in. But I want you to know that when that date happens, which I think I'm going to make it on your birthday on the 20th, because boy, you've done so many people dirty that I received some messages about you that I didn't even know you were such a nightmare of a human being, not just to your friends, but do you remember your previous girlfriend from Canada? The one that you kept tossing back and forth from the one that actually was honest with me, that you're a narcissist. And that all clicked. And I'm going to share. Oh, and by the way, you follow one of the creators about narcissism, Lisa Liu. So I'm sure you know that she describes you daily because you follow her. That much I know. Anyhow, this is what the caller. So Aaron told the caller that he was not part of the show, and Nancy, I rent the studio from him, that he was simply the technical director. The caller interrupted him and began yelling, claiming that he had heard me call him a keyboard warrior during an episode. As the caller continued screaming, I told him not to call us again, and began ending the call. While my producer was hanging up, the caller yelled that he was going to fuck him up, and then disconnected the call. Threat number 1. Now, let's see. Where do we go? Oh, and by the way, your photoshopping for Dolly Trinidad sucks. The police has this now too. I just want you to know. Boy, you've been stalking me with another fake page. This one was created February 1st of 2025. So anybody that sees a Dolly Trinidad, that is my narcissistic coward ex-husband using that username. Another one that he used to use is, let's see, Khaled Sowada. This message was left to me on August 17th of 2023, just to give you guys an idea of how long this has been going on. And what's interesting, I did not know about the woman that you had right after me and the one that you're with now, because I think you must have met her on one of the dating sites. I believe Facebook dating is what I was told. So, yeah, I didn't know that you had that one right after me, but I'm sure you met her while we were still together. But anyhow, I learned a lot about her too. So that was interesting. But what's even more interesting, I'm going to read you guys a little bit of the message that he left me at 8:17. And actually, Ron Gonzalez, that's the name that he goes by, but his real name is Juan Gonzalez. This name that he used was Khaled Sawada. And if you go to my Facebook, Nancy Frago, I have my story pinned with pictures of me in ICU. You could see the pictures of, actually, you know what? I'm going to show them to you guys. Because under the Dolly Trinidad, he left me a message. I guess he was answering some of the things that I said about brain surgery, how difficult my recovery was. Well, according to him, I had an easy recovery under Dolly Trinidad because I was eating tacos. And I want you guys to tell me, this is me in ICU the day that I got out, or the day that after brain surgery. This was maybe 2 or 3 hours after. This is the back of my head with staples. Just to give you guys an idea. Now, excuse me for the colorful language I'm about to use, but this motherfucker thinks that this fucking surgery was easy because I was eating tacos. He would be laid up over a hemorrhoid for 2 weeks, crying like a little bitch. Couldn't even go to work over a hemorrhoid. But he thinks this is easy? You're a joke, Juan Gonzalez. Piece of shit. So anyhow, on Facebook on the 18th, and by the way, Ron, I was with Joe celebrating his birthday, just so you know. So while you were busy supposedly announcing that you were in love with Joanna, this is the message that you had just left me. And I'm not going to read all of it, you guys, because it's just a whole bunch of lies. He's been saying that I've been smearing his name. And the reason why he knows that term is because only narcissists know that that's what they do. They smear people's names. What I'm doing, Ron, is exposing you and your narcissism. And now you can't hide from it. And that's the reason why you're coming at me, is because you don't like that I've exposed you for the piece of shit of a human being that you are. So this is what he left me. Why do I feel you're not telling the truth, Nancy? And again, this is pinned on my personal Facebook page with the pictures I just showed you, sharing my story, that he had made threats that if I opened up about how abusive he is behind closed doors, that he was going to smear my name. And he recorded conversations that I did not know that he was recording, amongst other things. But here it goes. Why do I feel you're not telling the truth, Nancy? I mean, let's face it, you're the biggest liar in Las Vegas, and everybody knows it. Just because Ron left you doesn't mean you should smear his name all over social media. Nancy Frago lies have destroyed so many innocent people that she's considered toxic and undateable. Yes, Ron left you, and you should stop your lies to go forward with your own life. Nancy is one of the most dangerous people in Las Vegas to date. That's why she's always single. Her narcissistic personality eventually shines through her toxic vibe. She fools no one and has... Yes, Ron was the dumb one to marry her, but I know Ron. Ron's a genuine man. Are you, Ron? Because this is you talking about yourself in third party. He made mistakes, but yes, Nancy over-exaggerates everything. These men should sue her for defamation. As a matter of fact, Juan, if anything that I'm saying, I encourage you to take me to court for defamation. The only reason why I haven't taken you to court for defamation and slander is because you don't have shit I can take from. But now your wife, on the other hand, we're going to find out about that because you two are an item now. So anyhow, that's just to give you guys an idea of the shit that this was August 17th of 2023. And this, let me show you guys how many pages this was. It is, he left me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this happened right whenever, I guess, you and the other girl right after me, SB. I'm sure you know those initials. That you were with her right after me, and then all of a sudden you kept hiding her, I apparently for like a year until you found the one that you have now, and all of a sudden you're head over heels over this one. But okay, but you sent me this, and this isn't the only thing. And I'm going to read to you guys this because then I'm going to go into the next subject. So let me read to you guys what Dolly Trinidad, aka Ron Gonzalez, fake name, real name, Juan Gonzalez, goes by. This is what he left me on my Facebook podcast page the day after the second episode dropped. This piece of trash is lying about everything. Her go-to slandering her ex-boyfriends to get attention. But hasn't anybody ever noticed that she has no boyfriend, no hubby, nothing? That's because nobody wants Nancy. Because she's a lying piece of shit. Nancy Frago's the biggest liar in Henderson. See, you know so little bit about me now that you don't even know where I live. But I'm going to get to Henderson because this is going to be interesting. And everybody knows it. And she continues to lie and precedes her reputation. Take everything this woman says with a grain of salt. Because if you heard the rumors about her, you would run for the hills. Nancy Frago is officially a buffoon. Her stories about her surgery are all lies. Nancy did not have a hard recovery. She was eating tacos just fine on her phone, which is one thing she does. She's a failed politician. How can I be a failed politician if I've never ran for office? Dumb shit. But hasn't anybody noticed that she has no boyfriend, no hubby, nothing? That's because Nancy wants. She's a lying piece of shit. And it just continues. This one, let's see, is 3 pages long that he left me after 2 weeks ago, last episode. Now, this part is where I need my phone. My friend, I don't know if you guys saw the last episode when he created this fake account. This one was done on 2/4/25. And he was asking, like I said, I've not made it a secret. I am not a Trump supporter. He was asking MAGA to attack me. There's a lot more. But again, I don't want to waste your time by showing you everything. But what I do want to read to you guys, because then we're going to go into how all this ties in. And just to give you guys an idea, I could not print up. I ran out of ink. But he spent about 5 hours 2 weeks ago sending my friend, who I spoke about in the last episode when he created this fake account, because Facebook would not take it down, even though we were telling them that this was a false page. And my friend went on there and commented, Ron, we know this is you. Your photoshopping skills suck. And that's when he took it down. But now he's created the Dolly Trinidad. And Facebook won't take that one down either, even though I've told them. But don't worry, Ron. I have filed the FBI report because I know it's you. And I've proven the patterns now because it's been 4 years of this. Now he spent, and I don't know if your wife even knows this, so I hope that she's watching this episode, because you must have a pretty low self-esteem for anybody, man or woman, for you to want to be with somebody like this that is still so focused on a former partner. And it's been 4 years. And like I said, I wish you guys would find happiness and leave me the fuck alone, because I am so sick of your shit. So now I'm going to throw the law at you with every ounce of my being, because honestly, Ron, you should be behind bars. You're dangerous. And I've also gone back to the journals because I didn't remember some of the things that I wrote when I first left you. So I had to remember where I was at in my mind. And I'm going to, if we have time, I'm going to read some of those entries just so that you guys know how evil he is, because I haven't really gotten in depth about that, but I might today if we have time. So he sent my friend, well, let's see. Let me tell you what he told my friend from the beginning, actually. Let's see. Sorry, guys. You know what? There's so much I didn't print everything, but basically he sent her a message on Instagram, just calling her names and just full of lies, spewing lies. And I heard some new ones, by the way, Ron. You made up some new ones that I'd never heard before. So it upset her. So she replied back with blah, blah, blah. And he begins with insults and lies. And I think he thought that he was going to hurt her feelings, because he told her that she was not invited to our wedding because I was embarrassed of her. And another friend, mutual friend of ours, was invited, and he told her that he could prove it because he could show her the picture that she attended our wedding. Well, little does he know that my friends and I actually communicate, and I never wanted her to meet you, Ron. And the friend that you did meet, and the one that you were referring to, that you sent her the message of, she actually had warned me that it was probably going to be hard to get rid of you when I got rid of you. And do you remember that trip that we made to California? We actually, on the way after we got gas, we joked. She asked me, how many times do you think he's called you in 5 minutes? I thought maybe once. And I asked her, how many times do you think? She said, at least 3 times. You had called my phone in less than 5 minutes about 10 times. And that's when she told me, you're going to have a time getting rid of him. And damn, was she right. So just so you know, but the picture that you could have sent my friend, for number one, you don't have it because I'm the only one that has those pictures. And since our marriage went to shit a week after we said I do, I never posted those pictures. I'm the only one that has them. And there's no need for me to post them. I don't even know where the drive is, if I'm going to be honest with you. But this is the last message you sent her. Now you can have a good day. Mind you, after about 4 or 5 hours of you constantly blowing up her phone and talking to yourself because she stopped replying to you. Now you can have a good night. This is your last warning. The next time you guys fuck with me, it's going to be nuclear. No stopping, just relentless destruction of the both of you guys' reputation. And I don't know if Nancy told you, but I am a master at fucking with people. Please don't let this escalate. I'm trying to be nice to the both of you. That's my honest feel. I don't want any problems, but I will get excited if you do something because I'm kind of bored these days. That's how he ended his 4 hours of threats. And I ran out of ink just to show you guys because I went to the police. We both did, actually. And this is where it gets interesting. Now, see, I no longer live in Henderson. Like, again, you know so little about me. And even when we were married, I stopped telling you things long before I told you. Oh, and by the way, you say that you have no criminal record and that I never called the police. I called Metro, let's see. Well, we were married because you locked me out of the house 3 different occasions. And you say that you never threatened to put your hands on me. Well, I think you forget that one of those incidents, we were recording each other. Because you said that I might say that you put your hands on me. The cops told you to leave me alone and for us to stay away from each other. But you couldn't do that. So let me see, where's that video? Because I have videos of you too. I have recordings of you too. But you knew I was recording you. Because I told you. Let's see. I have so much stuff on this guy, you guys, that it's kind of sad, if I'm going to be honest with you. Actually, I'm not going to waste my time on that. Could show that another time. But anyhow, this takes me to a subject that I really wanted to talk about. So just so you know, Henderson is ready to arrest you with charges, just based on the 4 or 5 hour threats that you sent to her. Metro, on the other hand, because I no longer live in Henderson jurisdiction, they were not willing to take a police report, even though clearly you spelled my name out in those threats. So what I'm going to do before the statute of limitation expires, I'm going to move back to Henderson, since I know Henderson is willing to do their job and protect people from people like you that are dangerous and should be behind bars, so that I can file criminal charges against you. So this shit can stop. Because apparently that's the only way that you are going to take me seriously, to fuck off. I want nothing to do with you. And just so you know, if I do save the date, I'm going to do it on your birthday. And it isn't like you and I are going to have a conversation. The only thing you're going to do is shut the fuck up. And I'm going to ask you questions, and you're going to say yes or no, you did it. That's it. Otherwise, if you don't, I'm just going to hang up on you. And Metro, because, again, I have 2 officers that were not willing to take my report. So I have their badge numbers. So yes, Metro's going to get a letter too. because of their lack of doing their job. That one SOB didn't want to give me his first name, gave me his badge number because he's required, but he wanted to tell me his title, which I didn't really give a rat's ass. What I wanted him to do was do his fucking job, which was follow the law. And you should be arrested. So should your wife. Because that threat came from her number now. And you're probably setting her up just the same way you try to set me up so many times, because you could deny that that phone call came from you because it's listed under her name. So, but it's not my problem. But the reason why I wanted to talk about law enforcement is because it's interesting. These two cities, one street separates us, yet one is willing to do their job and arrest you. The other one isn't. So now I'm going to have to uproot my life, and I'm going to move back to Henderson again, just so that I can get charges filed against you before the statute of limitation is up. But I do have a meeting with my attorney. So we're going to get all of this shit squared away, and we're going to wrap it up, because I am so sick of you, and I'm not going to deal with you any longer. So like I said, and the information I got from you blew my mind. I knew you were bad, but you're a deadbeat dad too. You were abusive with your kids. You were abusive with the Canadian. You were abusive with the one right before me. You were abusive with the one right after me. And you're abusive to the one you're married to right now. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't be harassing me. If you were so in love, you would leave me the fuck alone. And if she was so self-assured of what she has and had any self-esteem, I don't know of anybody that would want to be with you. It's mind-blowing to me. Your ex-girlfriend and I, actually, when we had that conversation, and I asked her, why'd you stay with him for 3 years? I couldn't even stand him for a few months. She's like, he played with my head, the gaslighting, the silent treatment. Even though the way that I said the 4 horsemen, what most people understand, because I know you understand breadcrumbing because of the creators that you follow that educate others on narcissism. And they've actually helped me too, believe it or not. They've helped me put the pieces together with you along with therapy. But back to law enforcement. This is exactly what I mean, that laws need to change. That we as a society, and that is exactly what I'm going to build, a society of people that want to see change, because I've been hearing so many men tell me also of the things that women put them through. And I understand that there's some men that unfortunately society has made it where they can't open up and be vulnerable because of judgment. And Ron, by the way, if you ever want to hear the things that you've been saying that you're going to expose about my life, you come hear me do a speech. My tickets sell for $200 for me to give a 20-minute speech. So that's what's going to cost you to not even have a conversation with me, just hear me talk for 20 minutes about my life. So there's nothing in all these threats that you can say that I already haven't said myself. Because like I said, every time I share my story, I shed shame. And that, I thank you for it, because you are part of the catalyst of who I have become today. And I fucking love myself. Because something I used to say pre-surgery was, I don't know that I would be with me if I wasn't me. But you know what? Now, damn, I wish I had a Nancy in my corner. And I actually do now. But Metro, I cannot believe that they, only because it's online and I live in Las Vegas jurisdiction, they do not want to even take a report to have it on file in case something happens. And I want you guys to know basically how it went with the first one was a female officer. The second time I went to their headquarters and I dealt with a male officer. And this is what he told me. Well, a piece of paper isn't going to do anything. I mean, you can go and try to get a restraining order, but it isn't going to save you. He asked me if I had a gun. And I said, what difference does it make? He's like, well, if you don't have one, you should get one. And I mean, if you see him, protect yourself. I want you guys to think about the police department, a police officer. When I'm going there, my tax dollars pay for his salary, and that's the answer I get. You guys can read between the lines what he basically told me without telling me. And I asked him, so what you're telling me is that you basically either want me to call you once he's here to hurt me, if he finds me, or that I've already done what you're telling me to do, protect myself. This is what he did. Mind blowing. My friend and I, we were flabbergasted. That is how fucked up our laws are. And this is why I'm saying you have made it my mission to change it, because nobody in my situation with this much shit and stuff that I haven't even printed or shown to them on my phone that I have of evidence, you should be behind bars. Because when I went back and read the notes when things were happening in real time with you, you would tell me that on a daily basis, what went through your mind was hurting people, killing them. Do you remember you thought of taking a knife from their groin area all the way to their throat? That was something you said to me that would cross your mind. And I've told the police this. But the only reason when I lived in Henderson, they couldn't do anything, they have police reports about you too, when all this started. They said, once you started using your real name, and because now you have, and it's probably because I called you a coward and you didn't like that I called you a coward, that you think you're now going to be a tough guy. And I'm glad that you think you are, because you finally started using your real name. But the grammar errors match your name now that you're using them. You're so illiterate, it matches too. It all matches. Because there is a pattern with abusers, which you're one. And your friends, I would love to see your friends that support you and say that you're a great guy. Because even the few that I met that are still friends with you, but I'm no longer in contact with, I know that you were asking them to go look on my page, and I knew that they were with you, and you were the one looking at my stories. And that is why I started little by little unfriending them and removing them, because I knew some of these people never looked at my stories, but were with you when they were. So it was easy to match it up. And I actually, with the 2 officers that denied me an incident report for Las Vegas Metro, once I speak to my attorney, I'm going to say your badge numbers. And I want to make sure that there is a report, because the reason you're sitting behind a desk taking incident numbers is because you're a screw up as well in your job. It's usually why you're sitting behind a desk. Otherwise, you would be out doing your real job, patrolling people, protecting people. But you can't even sit there and do that behind a desk. So I'm going to make sure that you get attention for your lack of importance in such a case. Because when I asked them, this is why women end up on Dateline or 48 hours. That's the reason why those type of shows exist. Because women like me and men, because doesn't just happen to women, and men end up on shows because of people like you, because you're a danger to society. You really are. And I just hope that by the time I can get you arrested, you haven't hurt somebody. And I hope that anybody listening, that you reach out to me and share your story, because the more people we have, it strengthens in numbers if we're going to have change. Because again, I cannot do this by myself. A riot is multiple people coming together for change and just shaking that cage for people to listen. Because I think that is one thing that is missing in society today. It's just that one-on-one human interaction, to be able to listen to one another. You to listen to my story, me to listen to yours. And again, I've been going through this for 4 years, that I have no doubt that somebody else out there listening to me has been going through the same thing, probably the same amount of time, if not longer. But my hope is that it unites us and brings us together for the better and for change, because this needs to stop. We have a criminal in the White House. And that's the other thing, Ron, Juan, whatever name you go by nowadays, is you say I'm a failed politician, and we have a criminal in the White House who's a rapist, a thief, stealing our money, pedophile. So there's nothing. If there's one thing that I need to thank the criminal at the White House right now, is that he changed politics so much that even me cursing, it doesn't even fucking matter if I was a politician. Because how the hell is anybody going to tell me that I do not have the freedom of speech? But he can tell, and you motherfucker, anything you want and spew lies, but the rest of us have to shut the fuck up and take it? I don't fucking think so. And I'm sorry for anybody that my language is triggering today. But this motherfucker, I am so sick of his shit. So sick of your shit. So I want you to know, when I do the save the date, your ass isn't saying shit. You're going to shut the fuck up. And the only thing I want out of your mouth is yes or no. And you could comment because I'm going to do it in a short. So if you're going to be calling in, well, you know what? Even if you don't call in, I'm going to do it anyway, because I think people need to know and hear the information that was sent to me about you and how abusive you are to your kids. Because when you and I met, your daughter was still in your life. So I actually thought you were a good dad. If I knew the things I know now, I could tell you right now, I would have ran for the hills a long time when I first met you. I got rid of you then real quick. You and I would have never been in contact again. And the only reason why, like, again, I'm willing to do save the date is so that you can answer yes or no. But even then, I don't think it's worth me wasting my time, because again, if you want to hear me speak, because before you used to have access to me and have interactions with me for free, but now you don't get that, because you know firsthand that I get paid to speak, to have conversations. And again, if you want to hear me speak my story and the things that you say that you're holding over my head, that you'll put it out there, it's already out there. So there's nothing you could tell anybody that I already haven't said myself and that I wouldn't say myself. But since you keep tabs on my social media, what I'm up to, because I didn't realize how much time you take to create fake emails, because just on my Instagram alone, I have over 40 fake accounts blocked. Then if we go to my Facebook, I don't even know there, my TikTok, YouTube, The list goes on and on and on. You're pathetic. Use that energy on your wife, on building something for yourself, on improving yourself. Because I've been honest. I said, I think you're a talented artist. If you weren't such a fuckhead, I would have asked you to create my logo. Because I've said it. I actually think you're a talented artist. And it's a shame that you're wasting all that talent the last 4 years on trying to prove that you're a good guy. If you were a good guy, you would have taken me to court and you would have sued me. All the videos that you say you have about me, put them out if you have them. Put them out. I'm not scared. Put it out. Put it out. Because that's just more, because it's just going to show how full of shit you are. But see, I have a lot on you. A lot. And now the police does too. And I am going to make it my mission to, you belong behind bars. Because again, you're going to hurt me or you're going to hurt somebody. And I hope that anybody listening to me, please reach out to me if you're going through something similar. Because I think more people nowadays are than they aren't. And I think that COVID really brought that to the forefront. A lot of people got divorced during that time. There was a lot of domestic violence incidents during that time. And there's things that I can't share with you, but I could tell you that a lot of, if you worked from home, a lot of employers took precautions because they realized that their employees were dealing with domestic violence. And I think that is a subject that not enough people talk about, and our mental health and how all that affects us. And I think we need to start the conversation. Are they uncomfortable? Yes. Do I wish I did not have to sit here and waste my time and money on a worthless person to me now? I wish I didn't. But you know what? The more I share my story, the more people reach out to me, and the more I realize that these conversations need to be had. And we also need to figure out a way to also protect men, because there are female narcissists that also do the same shit that you're doing to me, to them. And because they are men, they aren't relieved as easily. And I think men, I hope my podcast, if you find yourself and you're a man or a woman and you just stumble upon my podcast, that you start listening to me and that you start keeping track and detailed records, such as I am, because this isn't all of it, but it's been going on for 4 years. And some of you, like I said, I know have been going through this a lot longer than me, but nobody should have to go through this for this long. And we need to change the laws, and we need to hold law enforcement accountable for doing their goddamn job. That's what our tax dollars are for. And the ones that don't want to do their job, then we need to make sure that they leave their job, that we oust them, because this needs to stop. Aaron, how long have we been recording?
You have been on for 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay. I really want to, you know what?
I'm really shocked, to be honest with you, that the police department didn't take this seriously. And you're right. I think that is the biggest problem in society today. I think they just don't want to be involved in domestics. And I think that's why they try to not get involved when that's what they're there for.
Yeah. And you know what, Aaron, you spoke to him. And what's interesting is, there was a lot of people, and I think I mentioned it to you, or I might have even said it in the podcast, that people at first thought, no, it's just in your head, it's not going to be that bad. Or they didn't believe me. that he was this bad. Or they thought I was exaggerating, like he says in the messages that he leaves me, that I exaggerate. Do you, now that you've heard him and you've spoken to him, do you think I was exaggerating?
Well, obviously not. I mean, I don't know the guy. I don't want to know him. And there was no reason for him to call and talk to me at all. So to get me involved is ridiculous. And I'm not involved. I simply run a studio and that's all I do. But don't phone me and threaten me, because that becomes an issue.
Yeah. And and what blew my mind is that Metro wouldn't want to take my statement, your statement, because I have multiple, when it clearly, he also named me. So it all correlates. And that's what's mind-blowing to me with the police, that they wouldn't do that. So I wanted to play the audio, but my phone right now, it's so full. But this was March, so you guys could see the date. I'll download it on my computer so you guys could hear the audio maybe next time. But I'm going to show you guys this. This was March. I don't know if could you see the date?
No, you're going off screen there. Other way. There, keep going the other way. Keep going. Other way. There we go.
You see March 5th, 2022?
Yep. Who's that guy?
That's Ron.
Oh.
That's him. And that was the video. That day, I had just called the police. That was one of the days that he locked me out of the house. And my medications were in there. And I had already left him at that point. But that's when we were in marriage counseling. And I already knew I was going to leave him. But my therapist walked me through on how to do it, because we knew there was something I mentioned it to you off camera because I didn't think about this until the aftermath. But before I left him, it was, I believe, that August of 2021, he'd always threaten about divorce. Well, that August, he came home and I actually had divorce papers for him. And I handed him the divorce papers and he's like, "What's this?" And I said, "Well, you keep threatening divorce, so just get it over with." And after that, sometime after that, I'll never forget it because I was so scared. I already knew I was leaving him and I wasn't sure if he knew I started removing my things. But it was about 3 a.m. and he walked into the room, and I'm sensitive to light. And so we had blackout curtains. And he walked into the room and he stood over me what felt like for, I don't know, a very long time. But I just remember thinking, he's going to hear my heart beating, how fast it was. So I kind of just opened my eyes just a little bit, but it was dark, so he couldn't see that I could see him. And he stood over me what felt like for 5 minutes. I don't think it was that long, maybe a minute. And I actually think that night he was contemplating doing something to me because he already knew I was going to leave him. And I just remember thinking, I guess this is it. I knew I was going to lose that battle, but I was still going to put up a fight. Because again, I just had brain surgery a few months earlier, but I'll never forget how scared I was when he stood over me. Reading the journals and the first day that I left him, I wrote him a letter. And reading my words now, because I've not looked at those journals in 5 years. And they used to, I had stopped looking at them because they used to trigger me. They don't trigger me anymore the way that they used to. If anything, it just blows my mind that it's been going on for so long and that he's still at it. Like, dude, you're married. And like I told you, I hope that you're happy. I want you to be happy. But you need to work on yourself because you're sick in the head. And you've been sick in the head for a long, long time. You need a lot of work. And if she wants to put up with your ass, she can knock herself out. I sure as hell don't want you. So she doesn't have to worry about that. I don't want your husband, just to be clear. Juan Gonzalez. What name do you want me to tell you? I want nothing to do with you. Lose my fucking number. Forget my name. And you know what? Something that I actually haven't told anybody this. The beauty about brain surgery, it sucks. I'm going to tell you that. There's nothing fun about being a brain surgery patient. There's not one day that doesn't go by that I don't know that there's a piece of metal in the back of my head. But the beauty of it is that there wasn't much good in our marriage, in our relationship, because it was so short-lived. The only good was before we got married. That everything after that, for the most part, is bad. And my brain, for the most part, if I do not remember your name, it's because of the way that you made me feel was terrible. And so forgetting you has been really easy. I don't remember how you smell. Other than the pictures that I see you, you now disgust me. I used to think you were good looking, but now that I know your inside, you're so ugly. You're one of the ugliest individuals I've ever met. Your insides is terrible. But yeah, I don't remember much about you. Literally, that's how unimportant you've become. Because my brain only wants to remember good things now. And you were something so bad that it's become really easy to forget just about everything about you. That I literally have to go read those journals to remember how I felt about you, what I thought about you. But I realize now that I fell in love with myself, and I fell in love with your potential because I thought that you might want to become a better person. And I wanted to help you. You know, I try to help you with your, well, I don't even remember what it was. What he wanted to create this thing for men where pre-cum, something like that, was like a condom. And if your friend is listening, that you were trying this out with, do you remember you told me to record that phone call? So you could use it against them in case you ever needed it. Good thing I never gave it to you. I'm sure that friend, if he watches this episode, he'll know who it is. But all your friends should be careful around you because you record them. Oh, and the Australian one too. Remember you had me record that conversation too. But I have it on my phone. See, and I'm not sitting there threatening your friends saying, they don't even know that. So unless they watch this episode, they don't know. But I'm sure you're going to deny it to them. But if they ever contact me and they want to hear themselves, I'll provide them the recordings. And where you used to work. Do you remember the owner when you cornered him in the bathroom? Yeah, that story too. Because you like to brag how you used to make people miserable. Oh, and then the guy, when I was in ICU, you came to tell me, the day after brain surgery, how you'd gone off on a guy that supposedly owed you money. He'd paid you back, but you liked torturing him mentally. So you still kept harassing him, and that you were screaming at him so hard that you wanted him to meet up with you to fight him. And I asked you, why are you still harassing him if supposedly he paid you the money that he owed you? Well, obviously you like to torment people because you said it. You said you're vicious. And you know what's wild too, Aaron? I didn't even read it, this part, but he said, and remember the vase story I shared with you?
Right.
Okay. There's a portion in his rant that he sends to my friend. I never threw a vase at Nancy. I bumped it. That's his version.
I think you mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, that's his version now. And let's see. What else? He also says that he never yelled at me. And that when he would yell at me, he would yell away from me. I've never known of anybody that yells away from them, from somebody that they're yelling at. Have you?
No, that's a bit weird.
Right? Yeah. So it is just interesting. This is what he says. See, I can be a man, and I admit I'm a very vicious person. But then in the last portion that I read to you guys, he says, I'm not a vicious person. I'm a good man. So which are you? Are you vicious or are you a good man? Because a good man wouldn't take the time to do what you're doing. A good person wouldn't take the time to do what you're doing. Calling people, again, creating fake messages, fake profiles. Nobody that is happy with themselves takes the time to do that. And the police, especially Metro, trust me, they will know who you are. And the police officers that denied me my incident report in case something happened, they too are going to get the attention they so deserve. So with that said, if anybody listening, this is the last time I'm not going to speak about the son of a bitch, because these episodes, my podcast, I pay for it. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm sharing my story and being vulnerable for anybody out there listening to me. Because again, what I want is to build a society of people that are in it for change. And if we could lean on each other and have these difficult conversations, and again, just the human to human interaction of listening to one another and our stories, because there are so many people out there hurting, and that needs to change. And people like my ex need to be stopped, because he's going to hurt somebody. So with that said, I hope that you protect yourself and that you reach out to me. And I want to do a live, and I'm actually hoping that I can have a guest who's also gone through a similar situation like mine. Will come on the show and we can have a further discussion about this. And I'm hoping that some of the creators that speak about narcissism, the breadcrumbing, the gaslighting, all the things that you guys know, the silent treatment, it's all the 4 horsemen, but it's basically a lingo that most of us know, used in everyday life, that we can start these difficult conversations, whether you're a man or a woman. And if you'd like to be a guest and share your story on my podcast, please message me. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you for listening to me. And I appreciate your support. Thank you.